Hi everyone, this is Maria Blue Angel, and I am back with Talisman of Dawn. And last time I had ended things right before we get to, I would believe, is the wedding ceremony for Sher and Shariar, since we finished with the Castigari / the two sides of the family meeting, and Cher officially accepting the terms of the marriage contract with Shariar. So we got to see a bit of both of their families, them meeting on a more official basis, and we're going to see what's going to happen, because I think, as this first line suggests, there's a lot of organization that needs to go into actually, executing this ceremony between the two of them, Shariar and Cher, I mean. Anyways, let's get back into it and see what's going to happen. The treasurer was quick to organize things as usual. For many, a marriage ceremony would take months, even years to plan, but to him, it took only a matter of weeks. Wow, that's really efficient. Partially because he had already planned Shariar's first marriage and had enough experience. Okay. As for the other reason, it was because Mutik was very motivated to marry the two kids he raised. It was like a dream come true to him, and that made him and his already quick mind work twice, thrice as fast. The party he planned was huge, loud, extravagant, full of music, dance, and people. A celebration worthy of the great satrap of Khorasan. He would repeat to the others, laughing in the room of guests. And indeed, you could see all of his money and power in the intricate patterns of the cups, the beautiful smell of the bread, and the joyful rhythm of the musicians. I like this background also. Even Shariar's relatives were impressed, dancing happily and eating to their heart's content. There was not a single person that wasn't in awe of the festivities, whispering small praises to the one who organized it all. Well, if you ignored the bride, that is. I was gonna say, I don't think Cher is talking about this. Oh, you look great. I love it. I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry about the marriage. I hope you can be happy. Shahrazad looked distant. I really like your outfit. So pretty. All the colors on you. All that happiness couldn't reach her heart as much as she wanted it to. Relatives from both sides of the family would approach her, especially the women, giving indiscreet advice for her subsequent nights as Shariar. She nodded, pretending to note everything, but it was getting hard to keep the facade up. People were so impertinent, saying disgusting things and laughing in her face as if she was supposed to laugh too. The world was like that, Shahrazad thought. She just needed to get used to it. Oh, but the images. People had said so many things that filled her head with uncomfortable images, things that made her mind dread and her stomach twist. She continued to repeat to herself, the world was like that. The world had always been like that. I just need to get used to it. Meanwhile, the satrap spent most of the celebration talking to others, asking if they were enjoying themselves, if they needed anything. His relatives were having a hard time trying to find problems at the party. They would point to something to complain about it, only to compliment it instead. Okay. He was wearing that. Wasn't he wearing this earlier? But maybe he wore that to the Castigari, and maybe this is something she would have, more so what she would have worn, which is what the relatives were talking about before, but it's okay, it's fine. I like these colors together too. Shariar wasn't acting any differently to how he usually was, though. The Gonzabar would take care of all the small talk, while he just silently checked on everyone. But there was this fear lingering in his heart. Although it was small and distant, it still made his hands sweat a little bit. Shariar couldn't feel the happiness that marriage was supposed to give him, only the gnawing pressure of another commitment. He looked at his bride, trying to feel something different about her. Was there anything in her features that would make him feel flustered? That would make him desire her in some strange, beastly way? Because men are supposed to feel that violent attraction to women, right? If there was anything, he couldn't find it as much as he wanted. Not for the lack of beauty, but just because he couldn't see anything but unhappiness in her. She clearly didn't want to be there at all. Trying to close the distance between them, he approached her with a plate of food. My lady. My satrap. The Ganzabara had instructed them to address each other that way. Both obeyed, even if it felt weird and stiff. Do you need anything? No. He gave her the plate, and she nodded in acknowledgement. The satrap looked at her while she ate, trying to capture something, any sparkle in her eyes. Something that could tell him he was doing things correctly, that he was capable of being a good husband, that his efforts were fruitful. Shahrazad smashed her food and his hopes between her teeth. Thank you. If you want anything, just tell me. All right. Things were going to repeat themselves, he thought. This marriage would be another failure. His people and his family would be so disappointed in him. She would be disappointed in him, just like Abaza was. As his face fell, Shahrazad realized she sounded a bit too cold. It wasn't his fault she was there, after all. Her father was the one who set them up, and it was her decision to accept the engagement. Maybe it wasn't easy for him, too. She was a bit cynical about it, since he always looked so unbothered by everything. But the truth was that appearances hardly said anything about someone. She decided to try conversing. Okay, yes, I love this. Yay, come on, Cher. Soon they would be seeing each other every day anyway, so it'd be better if they actually talked. This is a great party. It was a genuine compliment, though it was tainted by her melancholic feelings. It is. Mutik does great work. It's a little excessive, though. I agree, but I could never tell him that. He was so excited organizing this. Shahrazad agreed silently. Yes, her father's happiness was both endearing and awkward to watch. He's always like that. There was a soft expression in the daughter's eyes. Aww. The blush matches her, outfit, too. It's cute. Look at Cher being all cute. Shariar felt a little sad looking at her. It was probably hard to leave her family's house, especially considering how close they seemed to be. He wanted to assure his bride that he would do the best he could to make her feel at home, and that he would never forbid her to visit family. But not confident in his own words, he decided to cut the celebration short and begin the ceremony, hoping it would help express what he wanted to say. Oh, I thought we already... I didn't realize we do this before. That's so cool. It's like a pre-wedding ceremony situation. All the guests gathered around a small table, their expectant eyes piercing like hawk's claws. The relatives looked especially interested, eyeing them with unnerving expectation. On the table there were some candles, bread, coins, sugar, incense, a small tapestry, a mirror, and the Avesta. Every item meant something for the couple, be it prosperity, protection against evil, sweetness in their future commitment. I don't know what the Avesta is. Maybe that'll be explained. Maybe I missed it. I might have forgotten, to be honest. But I don't see it in the glossary. Shahrazad and Shariar sat in front of the display side by side. They looked at each other in the mirror's reflection, both their faces uncomfortable. First, Panise and Layla held a piece of cloth over the two. Marianne stood behind, holding 2 pieces of sugar and rubbing them over their heads, blessing their lives with sweetness. Dastur is a Zoroastrian high priest. Cool. After that, the Dastur approached them, starting the speech. On this day, we thank the Lord of Wisdom, the great Ahura Mazda, who by the thoughts of his benevolent and all-knowing mind created the world. We are here to celebrate this union between man and woman, bound together by the teachings of the Avesta. Ah, I see. Yes, okay. My satrap? Shariar looked at him with seriousness in his eyes. You are responsible to follow the righteous path to heaven, meaning you need to cultivate good thoughts, speak good words, and do good deeds. All of this with no expectation for a reward, but for the sake of goodness itself. The satrap nodded, already familiar with that responsibility. My lady, Sherazad, as Sherazad looked at him, desperation in her eyes. She just wanted to run away. Like the earth, you shall be the manifestation of your husband's desires. His word shall be your law, your head always bowed to him in holy devotion. In this you must also teach to your children to come. The woman looked down, trying to accept the Daster's words as wisdom, though they sounded like a threat, truly. My satrap, do you accept this woman as your faithful wife? I do. This time the cleric looked at Sherazad. My lady, do you accept this man as your faithful husband? Sher didn't answer, partially because traditionally the woman shouldn't accept right away, but also partially because she didn't want to. She can't. She needs to pick flowers. The guest laughed a bit, knowing all too well that was a poor excuse. My lady, do you accept this man as your faithful husband? Shariar was sweating a bit. He knew the bride's silence was tradition, but it didn't make him feel less insecure. He reminded himself, you're supposed to win her heart every day. Love doesn't come easily. She can't. Wait, no. Panise's voice was like Saw. She can't. She needs to wash her clothes. Everyone laughed again, even the cleric this time. He prepared to say the question one last time. My lady, do you accept this man as your faithful husband? Yes, I do. Her voice was shaky and she couldn't look directly at the satrap. The weight of responsibility was heavy to bear and sad to hear, especially coming from her own mouth. The room filled itself with the claps and cheers from the relatives, but that happiness felt as distant as the stars and the sun. Shariar held Shahrazad's hand and whispered, "I'll take good care of you." It sounded like a generic promise, he thought, but it came directly from his worried heart. He hoped it would be enough to soothe her anxiety. Let's look at them. In this background, hella cute, look at them. I really am I want to work it out, but I want things to work out for them. My god. Okay, it's fine. They were showered with rose petals, more cheering and laughter. Then they were given the rings, which they exchanged, and then the ceremony became a party. For everyone but the new couple. Sorry. We'll just see how they navigate their new lives together. New chapter of their lives, rather. Later that night, after the party was over, Shahrazad had to spend more uncomfortable hours listening to relatives giving undesired advice. Gosh. The satrap was already at the palace, they said, and he was probably waiting for her. Waiting? The prospect of yet another expectation looming over Shahrazad made her stomach twirl with fear. He was waiting. As her footsteps echoed through the vast palace corridor, they seemed to whisper anxiously in her ear. "Run away," they kept whispering. "There's nothing good behind that door." She swallowed. The doorknob was already in front of her. Run while you can. When you open that door, you won't be able to escape anymore. Shahrazad stared at the door. Without the sound of her footsteps, only a dark silence filled her thoughts. The world of the adults was in front of her, the destination all were supposed to go. She should go through that door, shouldn't she? Like the people that came before and the ones that would come later. Did everyone feel this? This horrible fear, this urge to run? Open the door, Shahrazad. Just open the door already. Everything will be fine. Please. Let everything be fine. Oh, breaks my heart. Gosh. She opened the door. Shariar was sleeping on his bed, snoring silently. He looked very tired and wasn't going to wake up anytime soon. A huge sigh of relief escaped her mouth. Cher's mouth, rather. She didn't even notice how scared she was. Scared. No one would ever understand why she felt like that over the idea of having sex with someone. Maybe someone would blame insecurity or inexperience. But the problem wasn't the act in itself, no. The problem was that she was supposed to do it when she never felt the need to. nor the desire. Not even the interest. The woman's body crashed into a nearby couch, exhausted. She breathed deeply. 1, 2, 3 times, until she started to calm down. Bye, Mazda. Oh, no. I wish I could give you a big hug, Cher. Ugh, gosh. Then a small, warm tear fell onto her face. And then another, and another. The watery pearls crashed on her hands, on her fingers, on the thin golden ring that was there now, showing others that she was taken. Oh, I wanted to see her hands. It's okay. Not only her, but the dream she had. The simple life beside her father, her sister's company. All of it was taken from her grasp. Now she had to disappear behind the title of wife and eventually mother. Both ideas that were filled with expectations. And everyone had different ideas of what a woman should be. Was this what life was supposed to be? Constantly torn between what others thought? I just need to get used to it. No, Shahrazad didn't think she could take any more of it. Shariar snored again. Cher stared at him for a moment. He looked incredibly simple. Not a satrap nor a useless man. Not even the dominant man everyone kept talking about. Just a normal person. His snores actually reminded her of Duna. Her younger sister also snored. Sometimes so loud it would wake her up. Cher remembered how Duna would snore in the middle of the stories she told when she had a long day. It didn't matter how tired her sister was, though. She always wanted to hear them. The silly memory gave her an equally silly idea, a way of avoiding her obligation as a wife. It might work, and it might not, but she had to try. Also, it just reminded me, I get it, like, I get the fight that their father and Duna are having, but, like, wouldn't she be at the wedding? I mean, I would assume there's enough time, but I guess we'll get to that point later. But, ooh, I like this, coming up with this idea. Closing her tired eyes, Cher started to think, and as she thought, she started to dream. And as much as it wanted, the world would never take that away from her. And so a plan hatches. We'll see how it turns out. Ooh, excuse me. That was a plastic bin I put too much pressure on. The next day came with flowers, but no bees. When Cher woke up, Shariar had already left. The woman lifted herself from the couch, still remembering her idea from last night. Yay! Determination filled her chest. I have to get inspiration. She took off her dress and put on her usual clothes, and with that, she left the room. Cher walked through the palace corridors, listening to the castle gossip, picking up ideas. She wanted a story, and she needed places, characters, a small world. Thankfully, Shariar wasn't the type of satrap to demand silence from his servants, so there was chatter here and there. The sounds made the whole palace feel just as lively as the streets of Khorasan with the people's endearing everyday stories. Cher liked to hear people's voices, just as much as she loved the silence of the afternoons, when people would melt like butter into their beds, napping for just a little while. Ooh, I like that imagery. The woman sat on the parapet. She watched the room where the servants gathered as they waited for the chief's orders and listened to their conversations. Farhad is going to Egypt. Really? Good for him. I wish he would take me. I wish he would take... Oh, gosh, I already lost the voice. I wish he would take me, but he says I gotta stay here and ensure the family's well-being. The life of a traveler isn't easy. You could die anytime. He has a point. Still. Cher was listening so intently that when her father touched her shoulder, she jolted, almost falling off the parapet. By the great Mazda, why the shock? Were you daydreaming? Father, and you're still wearing those trousers. I thought Layla gave you a proper skirt. Just remembering her aunt's face made Shahrazad roll her eyes in annoyance. One day I'll wear it. That was a lie. And you're not wearing any jewelry either. My master, you're the satrap's wife now. You need to dress up more accordingly. Cher heard that same talk many times before. How she was always supposed to look more beautiful, softer, nicer, for an unspecified reason, for an unknown audience. It always started with jewelry, then it would come to, your hair is messy too, just like Dunazad's. Didn't you comb it? You should be an example for her. And then, your clothes are worn and baggy too. Why don't you try using the ones Shariar's relatives gave you? They would make you look prettier. Until finally, and your face could use some makeup and some perfume. Sherazade could recite those words effortlessly, but even though she was used to the scolding, it didn't make her feel any better about it. The words still hurt her confidence and self-image greatly. She stared at her father, annoyed. He lifted his eyebrows, confused. He didn't see any harm in his words. Why was Sherazade so angry? All women were like dolls. They loved being pretty, right? Ugh, he was just pointing out what he saw. It was for her own good. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm just giving suggestions. Did I ask for any of that? Cher wanted to retort. It would be funny if she said any of those things back to him, though. He would ask her why she was being so judgmental about his looks. Why, indeed. Why were they so important? Why was she never enough? Oh. It was like there was nothing good about her appearance ever. He could only point out her flaws as if those were the only things he saw. You know what? Yeah. I mean, I already felt this already. But yeah. You're her father. Like, the hell? It's a lot of pressure to put on someone. It's like, can't you just exist as you are? Or, you know, obviously, you're obviously worthy of being loved and, like, being appreciated just by existing. But here we are. Standards for women. Oh, I have an idea. I'll ask some servants to dress you tonight. That will help. Why did she always have to trust her appearance to other people? Why couldn't she choose anything on her own, or at least have a say in it? It was her body, wasn't it? She was the one that was going to wear it, so why did everyone get to decide things but her? And why couldn't she ask him to stop it? Yeah. Oh, Cher. Ugh. Breaks my heart, truly. The world started to grow distant to Sherazade. Her thoughts filled up the air in her mind. They strangled her bit by bit until night came and the servants took her to her room. After they dressed her like a doll, Sherazade stared at the reflection in the mirror without recognizing herself. She was pretty, but a pretty stranger. Whoever was in that mirror wasn't her. Meanwhile, the satrap was nervous in his own room. He spent the whole day solving his kingdom's problems so intensely that he almost forgot about his own. The Gonzabaro had assured him that he took care of everything, but that didn't calm his nerves. After all, the problem wasn't with his new wife, but whatever he was lacking. If he only knew what it was. Oh gosh. Oh, Shariar. He stared at the ground. The image of Shahrazade's face looking anywhere but him started to haunt his thoughts again. How could he make her happy? How could he satisfy her needs? Taking care of Corazon's political affairs was easier than answering these questions. Men are visual and women are sentimental. He remembered the words from The Secrets of Love, a book Mudhik had found in the corner of the bazaar. The Gonzabar was so enchanted by the great advice it gave that he wouldn't stop talking about it after Abaza left. Shariar memorized most of it as a guide. If your woman is sad, the solution is to satisfy her in bed. That will surely solve any problem that arises between the two of you. Gosh. Even in no situation, unless that is specifically pointed out as the issue, that is not going to solve your problems. The man looked up to the ceiling. We should have a conversation, deep in thought. That would probably solve everything, but we're going to see how they tackle this situation here. Yes, maybe that was the solution he was looking for. If he satisfied Sherazade in bed, she would stop looking so sad, and then they would have a kid and everything would work out. Oh, we're skipping a lot of different steps. Right? Excuse me. Okay. Cute colors. Shariar jolted from the sound of her voice, but he tried to collect himself. His wife looked beautiful, adorned with feminine clothes and complex jewelry. A strong scent of roses also invaded the room, ingrained on her skin. Suddenly, all his thoughts about marriage were erased from his mind. Shariar was so distracted with her unexpected attire that he couldn't think of anything else. Is she going to sleep like this? That looks uncomfortable. While Shariar had no idea why she had decided to wear those things, Shahrazad had a very clear idea of the reason the others wanted her to dress like this. The servants couldn't stop giggling when they adorned her, saying how any man would love to take all these adornments off. The mere thought disgusted her. My satrap. My wife. He had to call her that. She was his wife now, wasn't she? That old book said that it was good to reiterate how she belonged to him. Women like to be dominated, after all. Oh gosh. Burn that book. Oh my god. Shahrazad sat again on the couch, far from him, looking down. The man stared at her for a moment with no words to say, and they stayed like that for a long while. There was a very uncomfortable silence. Children? Huh? Shariar wanted to die of embarrassment. Do you like children? Oh, yes, I do. Why is he asking me that? God, did that sound weird? I forgot everything about social etiquette. Is he implying... She probably thinks I'm insane. I need to think of something else. Bye, Mazda. I need to act quick before he does anything. You know. Go on. Do you want to hear a story? This was unexpected. Not in a million years does Shariar expect Sher to ask him that. A story? Since he became satrap, Shariar abandoned these little pleasures like stories and singing. Motique had said they weren't fit for a man of his rank. The man had borne the loss of his hobbies for a while. He thought he had to overcome it, completely forgetting them. But now the mere word story made his heart jump in excitement. Yes, to pass the time, and to avoid any of whatever we're supposed to be doing, Cher thought to herself. Yeah, that would be nice. Only one was fine, wasn't it? The mere prospect filled his eyes with childlike wonder. It had been a long time since he heard a bedtime story from anyone. His child self ran inside his heart. There was so much euphoria inside of him that it could almost make the man's body shake with excitement. Cher noticed how he looked at her with bright eyes, a timid smile forming on his lips. The whole room felt lighter, calmer, and nicer. A willing ear, ready to listen and dive into the world of fantasy. Cher wouldn't admit it at that point, but it was nice having someone listening to her, even if it was only for a story. The words started to flow from her mind, excited to leave her throat. Well, once upon a time... Great, it works out. It works out. Oh gosh. Ooh. Let's take the glossary first. Iraj he's a mythical figure in Iranian culture, son of the king of the worlds. He was deemed noble among his brothers and was given Iran and Arabia, as well as the Golden Throne, Crown of Chiefs, and the Royal Seal. Okay. That's interesting. Let's get into the story then. When Iraj ruled over Iran, shining with glory and nobility, two men decided to travel the world. Oh, did I go back on accident? My bad. One of them was called Farhad, and the other one, Nikiza. Best friends since childhood, they were both young and adventurous. During one of their travels, they stopped by a city in the middle of a region called Kermanshah, and Farhad saw a very beautiful woman. I also like the background, as we get the story. He started to court her. He wrote poetry praising her beauty and sang it by her side in the middle of the public square. What he didn't know was that she was the spouse of the local king. People from the square went to the palace to warn their ruler, and he became furious. He sent guards to seize Farhad and bring him. Nikiza followed right after, worried about his friend. The king, blinded by jealousy and anger, sentenced Farhad to death. Please, my lord, begged Farhad. My parents and my small siblings back home depend on me. If I die suddenly, they'll starve to death. Let me go so I can pay my debts, solve my obligations, and bid them goodbye. I promise that I'll return. The king wouldn't believe him, so Nikiza stepped in, with fire in his eyes. I'll stay here as a pledge, he screamed. If he doesn't return in 6 months, you can kill me instead. Farhad was shocked by that suggestion, but the king seemed a bit more interested. You can't do that, Nikiza, said Farhad. You shouldn't risk your life for me. I have decided, Farhad, Nikiza retorted. Please, I know you have an honest heart and will fulfill your promise. The king, seeing the desperation in Farhad's eyes, smiled wickedly. Yes, this is it. I shall take this man as a pledge, and if by the end of 6 months you don't return, well, I'll kill him in your place. Whoa. Farhad looked into Nikiza's eyes and saw the confidence his friend had in him. He wouldn't betray that for anything in the world, not even his own life. I accept the conditions, Farhad said. And then Farhad started a long journey back to his homeland, the Persian Gulf. I mean, I'm captivated by all that. I want to know what's next. Sher stopped narrating when she heard a soft snore. Shariar was sleeping soundly, like the night before. The sight made the woman open a big, bright smile, proud of her own storytelling skills and relieved that at least that night she was safe. She took off the jewelry, the makeup, and layers of pretty clothes until she became herself again. Cute! Then she laid on the couch, happy to finally rest. Shariar didn't move a muscle in all that time. He really seemed exhausted. This world really tires us, doesn't it? He didn't answer. Good night, my satrap. Okay, made it through the night. I mean, I can't wait till we communicate with one another about what's happening, but it'll be fine. And that is all the time I have today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think so far. I'm glad we got through the wedding ceremony and then the first night of Cher implementing her plan of, telling stories to lure the satrap Shariar into sleep after a long day of work. I love it. I just wish they would talk to each other because obviously they both are coming in with their own worries about what's going to happen and everything, and it will be so good if they could talk to each other, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when that'll exactly happen. But anyways, if you like the video, please don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more of Talisman of Dawn on my channel, feel free to subscribe. I will check out the game soon again and be back with another video, so we'll wait till then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.